Burbank with a Baedeker Part 2. So Burbank crossed a little bridge. Can't be anything interesting in that line, right? Star Law of the Ages told me about Swedish folklore, which considered the Milky Way a bridge. With this legend, two mortals who loved each other died and were doomed to live on separate stars, so created the Milky Way. I was thinking of bank possibly as riverbank, then river as in the Milky Way, but also could be a physical river. So it goes on to say, in Star Law, Burrit says Capricorn is identical to Bacchus/Pan, who was feasting beside the Nile when Typhon came along. So I was thinking Burbank could relate to the banks of the Nile and Capricorn. And at that point thinking like Burrit was Burr, but I've changed my mind. Or it could be both. So the bridge in question is likely the Hohenzollern Bridge over the River Rhine, built to replace the Cathedral Bridge, which was unable to take the weight of the increased traffic. Because the first Klein book, which was published by Baedeker, I think, was called Rheinreise von Mainz bis Köln Handbook for Fast Travelling or something, about Cologne, Köln also meaning colony. Rhapsody on a Windy City mentions Old Cologne, sounds like Eau de Cologne as in the water, and I also mentioned it in my Wasteland ramblings about St. Ursula's relics at the Basilica of St. Ursula in Cologne, linking Ursula with this idea of the bear. But here's where I think possibly the relevance is. Burgrave is a German rank which also means account. The official title for the ruler of a castle, especially a royal castle, from the root Berg, castle, fortress. So it's like standing in for a reference to the Grail, I think. So then the next line, descending at a small hotel. So Klein is small. So the hotel in question is one that was mentioned in that book by Mr. Klein, Johann August. I haven't found the book yet, but obviously it is one that's got to be in this vicinity. Although I did find a story about Baedeker once had an occasion to stop at a hotel in Vevey in Switzerland. He's dressed in a simple coat, a faded umbrella dangling from its top button, carrying a travelling pouch over his shoulder. Nothing but like he looked like a tourist. And basically he wasn't treated particularly friendly. And then when they found out he was the guy who wrote the travel books, they were not very happy and very apologetic. I was wondering if hotel is a stand-in for the castle, if Burbank is relating to the castle. So I came across Schloss, sounds like I'm drunk, Drachenberg, Castle Drachenberg, which was commissioned by a Stephen Sartre, who he commissioned it who never lived in it. He was born in Bonn and then worked at Leopold Seligman Bank in Cologne and then transferred to Salomon Oppenheim Bank in Paris. He amassed a fortune and applied for a patent of nobility. He chose a pair of scales as the Baron's coat of arms, true to his motto, weigh and dare. I wonder if those scales relate to Libra. Wikipedia tells me he planned to move in with his childhood sweetheart, but she died, so he never actually lived there in this castle. He died in Paris. I shall continue.